All right, welcome back for another episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in back issue boxes, sometimes even dollar bins, just some hidden little gems that you might still be able to find at your shop. These aren't like the hot books, the top 10 books, the books that are usually up on the wall. These are things you might have to dig for because they're either forgotten about, just undervalued, underappreciated, or just, underpriced, quite frankly, because sometimes these things can go for more money than you might expect. And some of them might just be some cheap books that are actually pretty cool, depending on what you were looking for with your collection, whether it be for the art, the story, some first appearances, variants, later printings, things like that. I break this out into different categories, and I got a whole new selection of books for you this week. Hopefully, you're still enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. We are on our way to 2K, and we are almost there. We are almost there. We need less than 20. I think we need like 18 or 19 left to hit that little minor milestone for the channel. And once we do, we'll be doing another big giveaway. So if you want some more free stuff from me, tell your friends so we can keep growing the channel and get over that 2K hump. Because like I said, we are just about there. Just about there. Now, again, if you're interested in the memberships, check out what we offer below. I might be tweaking some of the options and switching things up pretty soon. Now that I'm back from vacation, I'm going to put some more attention and thought behind that of what to put in for the members, what little extra stuff to give them. Apart from the t-shirts, which I know I've been promising, I do have them. I just got to get them in the mail. So I do have those day one t-shirts going out pretty soon. I don't know if I showed these yet, but you know what? No, I don't know. If I did, I did. If I didn't, there'll be a surprise for the members when they get them. But with that all said, if you just want to see what books I have to talk about this week, you only have to wait a few more seconds after the intro, as I'll be right back. All right, so for this week, I do have yet another quick artist retrospective for you. This is one of my favorite parts of this program, as I like spotlighting artists because at my core, I'm a big comic art fan. That's one of the main things that really got me into comics back when I was a kid. Is I love the art. I love trying to emulate the art. I love trying to draw it myself, and with that, I still appreciate it to this day. And today I have another artist that I think is pretty underappreciated. You never hear people talk about his name, but he has done some fantastic, fantastic work. Granted, he's moved more away from comics in the last few years and more into like the fine arts kind of category, but there's some fantastic cover runs that we can talk about here. And the artist that I'm talking about is James Jean. I always thought it was John. I was pronouncing it John like it was French, but he's Taiwanese. It's James Jean is apparently the proper way to say it. So as I've been saying it wrong for quite some time, I will try to say it correctly today. But I might slip into the old habit of saying Jean somewhere along the line. So apologies if I do. But here, I put up Umbrella Academy because, yes, he did do the covers for that first run of Umbrella Academy, which, we all know by now. I mean, the show was pretty much a hit for a good stretch there on Netflix. It's kind of gotten buried beneath all the Stranger Things and even Sandman and some of the other projects they have going on. But Umbrella Academy was one of their hits that Netflix did have. And it did drive a lot of these comics to get a lot of more value and become harder to find. But he did do this run of covers, so let's just appreciate them for what they are, because you're still probably not going to find these for very cheap these days. So this is just informational purposes. These are not probably going to be hidden in a shop. I mean, they might, so it doesn't hurt to look into them. But this is issue 1, issue 2, issue 3. Again, fantastic, fantastic work. It's got just this classic fine art kind of quality to it. He does a lot of different mediums. He does a lot of different things, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But that was 1, 2, and 3. Here's issue 4, 5, and 6 for that first run. A great cover run by James Jean. An award-winning artist, by the way. Let's point out the 7 Eisners and the 3 consecutive Harvey Awards from back in the day. So he has been recognized by the larger comic community, but I think in the speculator corner of things, I don't think people talk about the covers that he has done, mostly because he hasn't done a lot of variants. He's just done nice long runs on some great books that also are good reads. But again, we'll get to that. A little bit extra that he's done in I think it was like 2017, so it's just a few years ago. He created poster art for three big films. Well, maybe not big, but three films that we all probably know. And he did them all in different like mediums and different styles, which I think again shows his range as an artist and something that I appreciate. And I love seeing this stuff and getting a little look into how some of this was made. So we're gonna start with that first one, which I'm sure you can recognize Jennifer Lawrence. This was that movie Mother that had Javier Bardem in it. Kind of crazy little story, but you can see here this was done more in like that kind of traditional like sketch and then painted kind of like style. So here there's I found some things information online with some of the some of the behind the scenes, like the steps into creating this. So you can see some of the early sketch work with the pencils, just how finely detailed those already were, and then the transfer over to the that like watercolor paper before the I guess the painting process were to begin. It's just you can see how detailed it was even at that stage. It wasn't like a loose sketch. It was just almost fully, fully rendered right there from the start. And again, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous image. I mean, it looks just like her. I mean, it looks like realistic almost. It's fantastic, fantastic work. But it's not just that photorealism kind of painterly style that he can do. Another method, and for that Oscar-winning movie, The Shape of Water, he did this. I think he did this for Mondo. I can't remember who requested this, but for Guillermo del Toro, he did do this in more of like a sketchy, kind of like charcoal kind of like style. So here you can see again those early layouts with the pencils, and then like that later kind of like charcoal kind of work in there behind it before it was I think digitally colored after the fact. But again, you can see just fantastic line work. Just it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. And I call this sketch, but it's not really a sketch once you see the final product. This is not your traditional sketch, but that is like the basis of how this was kind of like laid out. It wasn't done in the normal like inking process, I think. But with that said, there's another one, and then he has also done the straight digital work too. And here we have this the Blade Runner, I think 2049 little poster thing that he did. So this digital you can see here working on the tablets and the little things. It's just kind of fun to see. Again, a little behind the scenes into that process. I like it. This he like the little sketches as he was laying it out on the notepad next to him. I dig it. I think it's great. And like I said, I am a big fan of artists who can do more than one style, like Josh Middleton, who we will get to one of these days. I don't know. It is impressive to me. So this style again is also very, very good. So with that, let's get into some of these cover runs that I was talking about. And probably the longest run that he had was here on Fables, where he did basically the first 81 issues of all the covers across this series. I think there was a few that he might have skipped, but no, you know what? It might have been the straight run. But here you can see the first issue, which is going to be tough to find, but a lot of the other issues are very easy to find in those back issues, even in the dollar bins, the cheap boxes. So there aren't a lot of Fables keys. So there are a lot of these just out there. I mean, it was a long, long run. I mean, he did 81 issues, 81 of these covers, and then the series itself ran for like 150, I think, before it wrapped up. Fantastic read if you haven't read it. So you even get it for that reason. But you can find any of these covers, like I said, you can look at the work and how different some of these layouts are. I just appreciate. Look, you can see like there with the animals, you got the bears inside with the fox down below, inside that like boot cutout, and then just the different layers of how things are just set up, like the staging, I guess, of the covers is unique across like this entire run. No two covers really look that too much alike. I mean, you'll see some that remind you of other ones, like a wintry kind of scene, but it ultimately you can look at these things from issue 25 there, which has like a Andy Warhol kind of like pop art kind of like style with just little the Ben-Day dots in the background to this more of a painterly kind of sketch there with the fables and the trade dress. I also like when trade dress is worked in differently with the covers, handled much differently from 25 to 27. And then even in 32, you get a frame with inside the frame of that cover to give you a different like snowy, wintry layout there with a lot of motion and a lot of blues and different colors. It's just, again, it's gorgeous. I can go on all day just babbling, but you can look at it and appreciate it for yourself. You don't need to listen to me. Moving on here, I'm showing more 41, 46, 66. These again are just random issues throughout the run, just covers that kind of caught my eye. All of them are gorgeous in their own right, but these are just different examples to show you how differently he can lay things out. Again, playing with the trade dress of with the balls hanging from down below inside like Geppetto there, and then you have the little bit of a knight kind of thing going here. It's again fantastic stuff. One more batch just to kind of wrap up because again, 81 issues was a lot, so I felt like I needed to show a good chunk of these. So and then you can hear and see here near the end, you got those bears there on issue 70, and then what is this 71 there with I think that's Snow White and not Snow White, Cinderella. I think Cinderella was the secret agent. She had her own little mini too in the whole Fables universe. And then issue 81, which was James's last cover on that run. Again, beautiful stuff, beautiful work. I'm a big fan. If you haven't noticed, I've talked about his work before in other runs as far as dollar bin digging goes, because you can find a lot of these in those cheap boxes, surprisingly. And the art, again, catches your, or at least catches my eye. So I can spot it once I see it. But this is just an example. You can see here, look, in July, a lot of 15 issues of Fables sold for $2.74 for 15 covers. So this is what I'm talking about. It's cheap, not a big buy-in. If you just like the art, read the story, just look for lots like that. If you think it's like it's a lot to deal with, like, oh my God, 81 issues, I can't collect all those. You might be able to if you get them in chunks like this. So that's another way you can go out there shopping. And you can look at available things. You can see individuals might only be like a couple of bucks. If you do want to buy them online, I'm telling you, look at the shop. I'm not telling you to buy any of this stuff online. I'm not telling you to buy any of this. I'm just saying, if you're interested, here's the pricing, and look for this stuff for cheaper at your shop, because there's a good chance you might find it there. Like I said, even in the dollar boxes, the cheap 50-cent boxes, back issue, overstock, wherever you find your cheap books, half price books, yard sales, flea markets, wherever you go hunting, this is the kind of stuff I still think you can find for cheap. And I think it's worth your time just for the art alone, let alone the good story inside. If you're looking for speculation, you're probably not going to see a lot of it here because there isn't really a lot to go on for Fables. I mean, I don't think, even if it does get adapted, we had ABC kind of stole the idea and made their own thing when they were supposed to be adapting Fables with that, what was it, Ever After show or whatever the heck it was. Anyway, we're probably not getting a true Fables adaptation, but yeah, I can hope. I can hope. I think something animated would be beautiful if they did it that way. I think they try to capture some of the art style inside of here. I think it would be pretty awesome. But that's just me hoping. But that said, sticking kind of with the Fables, he also did a chunk of the first, I think, 11 issues, was it, for Jack of Fables, the first spinoff from the Fables universe. Yeah, 11 issues. So he did the first 11. So you can see issue 1, and you got the Vegas Strip sign right there on issue 2, and then or is that, no, that's issue 7, and then issue 11 you get more of like it looks like a Magic the Gathering trading card kind of like style. Again, a wide range of talent of how he can give us different styles and different looks on a lot of these covers. And these are, again, things that you can find for relatively cheap, even in lots. Like, look, that's in the entire 1 through 50 run of Jack of Fables for 40 bucks. So that's less than $1 issue for the entire run. Granted, James Jean only did the first 11 covers, but the entire run, if you want to read it as well, Bill Willingham, fun read, 50 issues for 40 bucks ain't too bad. And then if you look even online, what's available, you can see more chunks and runs like that. In the $40, $23, you might not get the full run. You might get in pieces here or there, but this is still lots that you're getting books for $1 or less. So this is still less than $1 a comic, which ain't too bad, if you ask me. Considering these all have cover prices of $3. So had you bought these off the shelf like I did, it would have cost you $3 each. But you can now get them, at a discount. Years later. Moving on. I said he didn't do many variants, and that is true. But this is one variant that James Jean did, and this is for Sandman Overture. This was that later Sandman kind of mini that came out a few years ago, and this was issue 6, and this was a variant cover, a limited edition that he did that actually does all right, and it's kind of tough to find. While a copy did sell for best offer on 35 bucks, if you go looking for copies now, you'll see they're a little bit more expensive. There's $75 with 12 watchers, and then there's a 9.2 CBCS that's out there for 85 plus shipping. So that's like 100 bucks for a 9.2, which I know a lot of people shy away from things that aren't 9.8s or 9.6s, but sometimes that's the only copy you'll be able to find, because those were the only 2 that I was able to find on the market for this particular cover right here, which again, look at how the trade dress is blended into the art. Look at how Sandman is written out with the hair and in the the details of the cat. It's, again, fantastic. if you ask me. Moving on, moving on. He also did a good little run on Green Arrow. Yeah, and this is again stuff you find in those dollar boxes. This is cheap. These are cheap books. You can find these. 12 issues he did. I think starting with issue 46 and then running, so whatever that would be to 58, I guess. But here is 46, issue 50, issue 57, just as examples again to show the different styles you can do with the Ben-Day dots there on that one to the darker, harsher contrasting of the black and white with a little bit of negative space with those lightning bolts. And then you just got the more blended art, I guess, in the middle there. But again, cheap books. These are not expensive. A lot of 50 Green Arrow comics. Again, not just the 12 issues that James Jean did, but a lot of 50 comics sold for $14.50. So that's what I'm saying. You can find lots and chunks and runs for very cheap if you are patient and you just look online because they are out there. For a lot of this stuff. And if you want to individually comic hunt, even online, it's only like $2 an issue. Maybe you can find another lot or a run for a little bit more. But once again, I'm telling you, look at your shops. I'm not telling you buy online. I'm telling you, look in your shops, see what you could find for cheap, dig in those boxes. Hopefully you find them in dollar boxes or less and you get a discount. Hit them up when they have one of those, they have like a fill a bag sale or even a fill a box sale. And this is the kind of stuff you want to keep in the back of your mind of like, you know what? I never know what to look for when those big deals hit. Like this is the kind of stuff. Maybe you can find good runs of covers and comics that you are interested in that you might not normally buy that you can take advantage of when your shop or whatever has one of those big kind of clearance sales. Because I'm saying that because I know with Labor Day weekend, I got a lot of notices of some sales at some shops, but I just unfortunately didn't have time to hit up any shops this weekend to hit up any of these deals and sales. But I know they're out there, and hopefully you can take advantage of such sales and deals in my stead. And if you do, let me know what you pick up because I still tag me on Instagram. I love seeing what you guys are picking up out there. It gives me hope that I can still find good books too. Well, I'm not done yet with James Jean. So if you're like tired of this, I still got a couple left. Not many, but a couple left. One of my favorite runs, and the one I've talked about before on Dollar Bin Digging, way back, was this Batgirl run. Just gorgeous work on this Batgirl run. This was the Orphan Cassandra Cain Batgirl run on the title. So not Barbara Gordon, but beginning with the issue, I think 41 is where it started. 45 is one of my favorites and does pretty well. And then there's an example there of 43. And then another good one that I like is issue 52 with Poison Ivy there. And then you can see with 53. And then 57, I think, was the last James Jean cover. But again, nice little run of covers, and this kind of thing, I'm telling you, you can find them in dollar bins, and sometimes they do okay. As I pointed out, this Batgirl 45, it can sell for 10 to 20 bucks, as you can see here. This one has been a standout of this run, again, with those Ben-Day dots kind of in the background, and I like just the way this is colored, just between the two of the guy she's hitting in the face. He's almost like background noise, and she's more colored to pop. It's just, I like the layout. I like the way this all comes together. But even if you go shopping online, despite the fact that people have paid 10 to 20, you can still find copies for like $5 out there or $12, or you can get an entire run that covers this run for $50. That's just examples. But again, I'm telling you, dig in the boxes, dig in those dollar boxes and the cheap bins. So not quite dollar bin digging, but maybe. In this particular episode, I'm telling you, hit those dollar bins because a lot of these James Jean covers are in there because they just don't get the respect that they deserve, in my opinion. And the last run we're going to talk about is one that's actually hit on a couple of books in this short run. 6 issues only of Amazing Fantasy. Issue 7, 7 through, I guess, what would that be? 13 or so? 7 to 12? Yeah, 7 to 12. 6-issue run for James Jean on this cover art. But a couple of these hit for one reason or another, including issue 7 here, which was the first of that Scorpion character that hit the Hulu show, the MODOK Hulu show. And then you can see this one does okay, even now, still kind of hanging in there. Can sell for $20, $25 with the issue following it, 7 and 8 for the first appearance of that Scorpion character. I can't think of her, her street name, her regular name, the character's like main name, but regardless, copies available still. 18, 25, $40 even are the asking prices for this one. So if you can find this one for cheap in a box, you can still maybe do all right if you're trying to flip it, or get yourself a deal, because these are the prices for this particular issue. Issue 7 is one that, like I said, it hit a little bit. But after that, I think the one that hit even harder and more recent was this issue 10, because of the Nina Price Vampire by Night, because of the speculation of her being cast and coming in the MCU in one of these projects coming up very soon. So that book has really hit, and if you can find it, you can find this. Look, its copies are selling for $75 to $100. Those are sold prices. Sold for $75 to $100, and the asking prices, and also in August, so in the last couple of weeks, asking prices are again in that same range: $90, $90, $135 for this particular issue. So if you can find it, and I have seen amazing fantasy books in those dollar boxes, and have picked up plenty of them. I got to dig them out from wherever they are, and hopefully I have extras of this one, because this one's doing all right. But apart from James Jean doing some of the covers, there's some Delato covers later in that run as well. Just keep an eye out for those amazing fantasy books, because they're kind of underrated, and you can still find them in those cheap boxes. So with that said, that's my little coverage on James Jean. Hopefully I've introduced some of you to a new artist that you can go and check out and appreciate the art. And like I said, look him up online. He's done a lot of just fine art stuff and some like murals and things like that. Just gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. But you can see how like children's books and things, titles like Fables really fit the style that he excels at. But he can do a lot of different mediums, which, again, I find quite impressive. And with that, we're going to move to our next segment, which is first appearances. I know you guys love first appearances. I kind of miss doing Forgotten Firsts, but I'm going to just kind of mix them in here every now and again. Just some first appearances that, again, people have kind of forgotten. They could be tucked away in those boxes. And things that you might not have remembered, like, oh, yeah, this actually has a first in it. And the first character I want to talk about is Harvey Bullock. We're going to hit DC a little hard today. I know DC doesn't get a lot of respect, so we're going to hit the Batman cops pretty hard in the next couple of picks, just to give you a little heads up of what's on the way. So Harvey Bullock is a character, again, we've seen him cast in Gotham. The animated series is probably where he made his bones and became more of a fan favorite type character. But I did really like him in Gotham. Donald Logue did a great job portraying him in Gotham, but we've seen him in a lot of other things as well. And again, throughout the comics, he first appeared all the way back in 1974 in Detective. And I know you're thinking 1974 Detective Comics, first appearance of Harvey Bullock. This thing's probably like $100 book. Well, it's not. And here it is again in the panels inside, just to give you a sense there. We can see that there's Sergeant Bullock showing up first in this Detective issue, but copies don't sell for that much. Surprisingly, this is a pretty affordable book. Look, $20, $8.88 on 6 bids, $7.50 on 3 bids. Like, this thing doesn't sell for too much, so this could be tucked away in a box. And especially if your shop's pricing using an Overstreet guide on some of these older books like their Detective run, you can probably find this pretty cheap. And even if you look online, yes, there's a copy asking $50, but there's also an auction starting at $2.99. Not a lot of people are looking for a book like this, so I always tell you, hunt those auctions when we're talking about these books, because you might not have any competition. One of you guys can bid on that book, which has about a week to go, and maybe get it for $5. Who knows? But then again, you might fight amongst each other and then end up paying more. But you know what I'm saying. And then $30 is another example. There are possibilities out there. You don't have to rush. I'm not here to create FOMO. This is just a character that's been out there for decades. And his first is still not that expensive. So maybe you can find it at your shop for a good price. And that's why I'm pointing it out. But this isn't the only first you'll see pushed out there. This is his first. That is where he first appeared. But he didn't show up again for like a decade. It wasn't until 9 years later, in July 1983, did we see Harvey Bullock again, when he really came to prominence and started being used again during this run. So this is a book that a lot of people look at for Harvey Bullock as well as a first, even though it's not really his first. His first was 9 years before, but it's the book that really got his momentum going here. And you can see him coming right at Gordon and telling him what's what. So he was a problem to start, and then the character grew, kind of from there. This is another book that is also still not that pricey. Copies selling for like $8, $13, $10. It's like, $8 to $15 maybe, or is really the range of what it's selling for. And copies available in that $13 to $20 kind of range if you wanted to go buying online. But once again, not saying buy online. I'm saying go look in those back issue boxes, flip through that run of Batman that you ignore every week, and say, you know what, maybe I can find this. Oh, look, there's a random Batman 361. It's in decent shape. Oh, they only want $4 for it? Maybe I should buy this. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. That's the kind of hunting I'm advising you on. Look to find these things for cheap, hidden away, tucked in a box, hidden gems. It's in the title. Next up, I want to talk about Renee Montoya, another cop. She ends up becoming the Question once we hit like New 52. And she's also been adapted in the Birds of Prey movie by Rosie Perez. She's been on the Gotham show, other projects that have gone through Batman. We have seen her before. And once we get more Batman, we'll probably see her again. So it's a character that's probably not going away. These are very popular cops for the Batman Gotham City universe. And if they ever got their thing, the crap together and ended up making that Gotham Central PD type show, these are two type cops that they would focus probably that show on. These are important characters in the little corner of the Bat universe over at DC that probably are not going to get forgotten about anytime soon. So Renee Montoya is another one you should always be aware of, because her first is also not that expensive. Batman 475. It's a double because this is also, I believe, the first appearance of the ventriloquist, which I do not have that much faith in. I don't think we're going to get a great ventriloquist story. Fun villain, sure, but I don't think we're going to get a magnum opus of the ventriloquist coming anytime soon on film or even in the comics. But then again, they did so with Mysterio when Kevin Smith came on to do that Daredevil run, and they did make Mysterio more than just a goofball. So yeah, who knows? March of '92 though for this book, and again, first appearance, Renee Montoya. There she is, Gordon, Batman showing up. That's the pictures inside for the guts of first appearance. But you can see here again, $10, $13, $11. Not selling for a ton, but maybe you can find it for cheap. Copies even online are asking 10 to 15. Not expensive. Who knows what could happen if she does show up? It'll probably get more expensive again. I mean, stranger things have happened. People are paying hundreds of dollars for Trespasser #1 because it's low print. But who cares? I don't know. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to go and complain about other things. Just saying, this is a book that you could probably find out there for cheap. So go dig, go look for it. Go look for it. Maybe you can find yourself a nice little deal. And again, don't ignore the dollar bins because some of these books could still be in there. Could still be in there. That's why, I mean, this is not dollar bin digging, but always remember a lot of the things I talk about, check the dollar bins anyway, because depending on your shop, they might not know a lot of these books and they could find their way there just as easily as in a back issue bin underpriced. So take a look. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to look. The final one I want to talk about here is another character that grew on to become something else. Crispus Allen went on to become the Spectre, replacing Hal Jordan as the Spectre. But there's a few Spectres throughout the years, but Crispus Allen was one of the Spectres. But before that, he was also a Gotham City police officer. So another character cast in Gotham, other TV shows and involving Batman, a character that has been used before and once again will most likely be used again. So don't ignore Crispus Allen, who first appeared here in March of '92, and Batman. Was this March of '92? I don't know if I might have used the wrong date for that, but Batman Detective Comics 742 is the issue. So if I got the date wrong, because I feel like I left the date from the last one on there, but this is the first appearance of Crispus Allen here inside. Great run with Greg Rucka. Nice read, as well. Again, a very cheap book. This is definitely dollar bin digging worthy. I think I've even talked about it on dollar bin digging. You see copies selling here for $3, $5. A lot of 4 issues selling for only like $7. So that's only $2 an issue. Very cheap stuff, even online. $1.52 with no bids yet. A couple days left. $4 buy now, $5 buy now. Not a pricey book, but once again, check the dollar bins, check your shop. It could be even price tagged $1 or $2 in a back issue bin, and for $1 or $2, you could do worse for grabbing a first appearance. Moving on, we're almost done. I got 2 more segments to hit up. The next one being variants, because I like talking variants. I like collecting variants, so I like talking about variants. And today, my variant focus is going to be more around some more IDW stuff, because again, I'm not talking about the hard to find stuff. That's just for chasing ghosts. Those are the higher incentives, the really tough books, even though some of these could be tough too, even though they might only be 1 in 10, like this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ghostbusters #1. There's also RIs for the rest of the run, which I think is like 5 issues. Look for all of them, but I'm only showing you issue 1 here to start, as an example. So the RIs, which you can see right on the cover, IDW is very helpful in that way, in telling you that this is the retailer incentive variant. So look at those covers. If you find these for cheap at a shop, you find them for like cover or mixed in, just pay attention to it because there it is. It's RI on the cover. That stands for retailer incentive. And for most times for IDW, most of the time they do 1 in 10s. There's some higher ratios that they've done as well, 1 in 25s and whatnot. But 1 in 10 is like one of their easy standards. And a lot of their books had them. And Turtles and Ghostbusters was one of them. No copies of this have sold recently to really give you much of a market on what they've been selling for. But I can tell you, asking price for the one I found out there is $150. Is this a $150 comic? I don't know. Is it that tough to find? Maybe, because I can't find that many online, at least right now. So if you find one in a shop, maybe you could do yourself and make yourself a few bucks on it when you base it off of the current asking price, at least. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Go look. There's 5 issues of this series. I believe I saw like issue 5 also had a fun $150 ask out there for it as well. I don't know if the other issues were even out there. I'm not covering all of them, but check for all 5. But the RIs for this Turtles Ghostbusters run could be tough. And if you find it, you might find yourself a nice little gem that'll make you a few bucks. So yeah, look for that RI. Just like these early Turtles RIs, there's a ton of, I mean, we're up to 130 plus issues of the IDW Ninja Turtle series, even though I think it's going to end soon. There is a long run on IDW with the Turtles, and a lot of RIs ran throughout this series. So there's tons we could talk about, and we'll probably talk about more as we go through in later shows. But for today, I just got a couple that I just want to spotlight a little bit, including this first one, issue 16. This kind of ties back to a couple of weeks ago when I talked about for Slash, because here we have Slash on a cover here on the IDW run, which is kind of cool if you ask me. So there's Slash right there on the cover with all 4 turtles going at him. $25 to $40. Copies of this 1 in 10 have sold, so that's about triple ratio to quadruple ratio. It's kind of selling for not too bad if you can find one for, like I said, ratio or cheaper. You could do pretty good if you can find one of these. Because again, asking price $150 is the only one I could find out there for sale right now, at least when I went to check. So another book you might be able to find and maybe find a nice little gem. Like the next book, which is might be tough. A lot of people know this next one, but I just want to show it because, well, it's a cool cover. Nirvana homage. You got Michelangelo with the pizza, the cover, that cover of that album. This is issue 18, also an RI, so a 1 in 10. This thing's already very pricey. So right at the gate, you know it. I mean, you recognize it right away. If you saw this in the shop, you'd probably buy it anyway without even knowing that, this thing sells for $123, $175 raw. Despite that, there was a $71 CGC. I think it was a 9.0 that sold. I think that was a 9.0. I can't really see it clearly on my screen here, but still, it's not like a $5-10 book. Like, this is a 1 in 10, so it's not that high of an incentive ratio. There's not, wasn't that hard to get for stores to qualify to get it, but still, asking prices $600 raw, $459 for a 9.6, $1,900 for a 9.8. It's crazy asking prices. Just saying. But if you find one at your shop, even if you find it priced like, oh my God, they got this turtle book and it's $30. Well, $30 is definitely worth it when you look at this. So another reason I give you the information so this way you can see. This is a book that a lot of people might already know, but it couldn't be priced well under where the market is right now. I don't know. Again, I don't know how your shop prices. I'm just giving you this information so you can make the call. I mean, you can go into your shop and be like, hey, they had that turtle book. Oh, damn, they want $100 for it. Well, they want $100 for it. Do you want to buy it? That's up to you. But there's where the market is. So even at $100, maybe you're getting a little bit of a bargain depending on its condition. But still, that might be a little steep. Then again, asking price is $600. It's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. I'm not here to tell you how to hobby. I'm just trying to point out some cool books to keep an eye out for that hopefully you can find for cheaper. And I got one more variant for you. Another turtle book, 28, Bebop and Rocksteady. Pretty fun cover. Don't see them like spotlighted in this way very often. Again, it's only 1 in 10, so there's a chance you can find it out there, and there's a chance you can find it for pretty cheap. I mean, here's one that sold for $42 on 3 bids back in July, and right now I found one out there asking about $53, but shipping's probably gonna be like $60. So that's a 1 in 10. It's not too bad for something you might be able to find out there at a shop if you go digging. One more segment for you. Gonna hit up some randomness. I didn't know where to put this, so I'm gonna put it in randomness. Thought about oddities, but it's not really oddity. This is just randomness. And the randomness I want to talk about real quick is this Marvel series, 5 issues, 5 Ronin. pretty cool, spotlighting these regular Marvel characters, but putting them in kind of like a feudal Japan kind of like atmosphere. So you got Wolverine there on issue 1, you got Hulk on issue 2, you got Punisher on issue 3, and then moving on, issue 4, which is probably the gem of this series for the character as well as the cover. Psylocke, gorgeous David Aja art. I mean, talked about him already before. There's a whole artist retrospective covering him. That's a great cover. And then Deadpool there on issue 5. So 5-issue run. Pretty cool stuff if you could find them out there. I grab these anytime I find them, and especially if you can find them for cheap. So anytime, any issue I grab. But that Psylocke is probably, like I said, the gem of this group. As you can see, other copies can sell 2 bids for $10.50 on that Wolverine for issue 1, but the Psylocke got almost got $90 raw, and then a whole set, 27 bids, 1 through 5. This is the A cover. I'm going to get to the B covers in a second. These are the A covers. You can see that whole set of A covers sold for about $190 at auction for all 5 issues. So if you can find these and you can get a whole set, you can make a few dollars if you can find them for cheap enough. Asking prices, you can see again, issues could be asking $20, $25, or up to $170 for just the Psylocke cover alone. Again, those are asking prices. I'm not telling anybody to pay any of these prices. I'm just pointing it out that that's what others are asking for these books. So if you can find them in the shop, you might do all right. Those are for the A covers. Each issue of all 5 also had a run of B covers that you want to look for as well. You can see here with the was it Cassidy, I believe, Wolverine in the middle, still got the Hulk, still got the Punisher, and you still get gorgeous David Mack Psylocke there on issue 4, and then you got Deadpool there on issue 5. So the same characters, but they all have B covers. And these actually are cheaper than the A covers. So you can see as examples, this gorgeous Psylocke cover for issue 4, it's only $15 for the B cover, whereas the A is almost $90 that it sold for. Then you can see a lot of both covers for issue 5 sold for $15, and then a whole run of all 5 of the B covers sold at auction for just under $100. So the cover A sold for almost double what the cover B set sold for at auction, just for frame of reference. But still look for them. Asking prices could be like $8 to $20, $15 for any of them. So if you can find any of these, again, I'm telling you, look in the dollar bins, look for cheap, look for cover price or less. And if you do find them, maybe think about picking them up, because apart from being a pretty fun series and some cool books, you might make a few bucks. So that's all I have for you this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you're still enjoying this series as well as everything else I'm trying to provide you here on the channel, including what my friends are providing as well. Appreciate all the support. We are so close again to 2K, so keep telling your friends that we can keep growing and move on to do some more stuff for you guys. And with that, I'm not going to make this a long-winded goodbye. This is all I got for you this week. Got more coming your way, more Chasing Ghosts, Tax Show, Dollar Bin. You got Saturday Night Special. You got Mail Call Madness. We got the Star Wars show. And I'm even going to do a pickups. I got a pickup coming for you, a pickup show coming for you soon, because you guys had asked for it. And I did sign up for one of those mystery box services. So I do have a mystery mail call box to open, mystery mail call package to open. I'll do that on a show coming up soon and show you guys what you get in such mystery boxes. So with that, hopefully you're still enjoying everything here on the channel, and let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys soon with some more content. All right, later.